chasing a dollar may get you in a tight corner that you can't get out of, for real, for real. So you really wanna watch where you're going, because that money ain't gonna lead you everywhere you want it to be.
Well, as a former athlete, we've always talked about the day where student athletes can benefit from our name, image, and likeness, right? We remember playing NCAA college football back in those days, and playing with Clemson, for example, and I'm playing with myself. And I know NFL players are getting money when you play Madden, because their name's on the back of the jerseys, they're using their actual number, actual hometown. But the college game was kind of manipulating the rule by having my same measurements, size, height, weight, my jersey number, but no name on the jersey, and it would change my hometown.
I think it is a great history lesson to learn from when you talk about the Heisman Trophy with Reggie Bush's situation. And there's so many people that were like that, even going way back to the Fab Five at the University of Michigan back in the early 90s. I mean, hearing the stories, and I was in high school then, but how these guys are seeing their jerseys sell for X amount of dollars in the university bookstore, and yet they're trying to scrounge for change in the glove compartment just to get some fast food.
July of 2021 was when it became legal for athletes to be able to brand themselves and use their name, image, and likeness.
It was more so an opportunity for businesses, organizations to partner with the student athletes on an individual basis. What some teams did at the Power 5 level, I don't want to call it manipulated the rules, but they were able to start what are called collectives. And that's where a lot of individuals get together and pool their resources, their funds, in the name of a nonprofit.
With NIL, it's really based on your personal brand. And so if you want to connect with the brand, you actually have to reach out. The brand doesn't reach out to you. And it also depends on the school that you go to, because sometimes you can go to a Power 5 school or SEC school and it already has that natural pull to it. HBCUs, unfortunately, we don't have as much pull as, those top schools with the top brand names. So it's really about how bad you want it, to be honest.
I think what's smart that a lot of other schools are doing is kind of like a collective, or they're pulling a group of money together and kind of distributing it evenly across the team, which I think is a pretty good idea to help benefit everybody, and then kind of the big name guys can fend for themselves.
Business owners from FAMU or other HBCUs should seek out student athletes to represent their corporations. This university and so many others have people, alums who are, even if they're not business owners, they're in high-ranking positions with companies.
You're talking about a school of 80,000 alum, many of which don't use social media that way, as opposed to a school across the street that's got probably 200,000-300,000 alum. And so just the opportunity for those guys to have a larger social media presence obviously plays a huge part in them being able to secure NIL deals, because again, most corporations that are businesses, that's what they're looking for, right? They want someone with a huge social media following because they're trying to market their product.
Whenever name, image, and likeness came to Florida State, I think as an institution, we wanted to provide elite level opportunities for our student athletes. So we know that they are high performing in all areas, and this was the next one that they were going to dive into. So name, image, and likeness is a great opportunity for our student athletes to showcase that story behind the jersey.
Yeah, I think the first, it was, I guess 4 years ago, or no, 3 years ago now. I was at my previous school, Vanderbilt, so I think that's the first time we heard about it. I remember hearing a lot of lead up, like you mentioned before, we were talking of, California being kind of a spearhead for, leading that movement. So, I had a buddy, close friend that played at SC at the time, so kind of was just interested to see if that would play a part for him or anything. But yeah, that's kind of what I remember about it.
Like I said, I'm still getting used to the NIL. I'm still learning about it as we speak right now.
I didn't know that I had to do taxes, and I'm sure there's a lot of athletes out there that don't know. You know, it doesn't matter if you've made this amount of money or however much deals you have. Like, learning about the real world of paying taxes, how to read contracts, how to negotiate deals. It's just such a new business world, along with being a college athlete, that it almost feels like you're becoming a professional athlete in a way, because you have to deal with all of this.
At first, I considered doing it a lot, but then I had to consider the influence social media had on my mental. And because I'm still a student athlete and I, go through mental adversities on the field and off the field on top of being an advocate for NIL, I would say that balance is something serious. And that's why, when you are in control of your brand, you get to pick and choose your battles.
So it is good that now that these athletes, and I know people want to fall on the spirit of amateurism, but it's nothing wrong with the hard work that you put in and the productivity. Obviously, you have to win, and if you are marketable, if you have a great face, if you have great production, and you can sell something, be a pitch man or a pitch woman, go for it while getting your education, while representing your university at the same time.
The legislature that was recently passed, which allows coaches to be more involved, will greatly benefit our student athletes, because now we can advise them on what NIL looks like. A lot of the guys just think that it's free money, but as everything else in this country, right, you got to pay Uncle Sam, and so there are taxes involved. There are other factors involved with NIL deals. So really, education is still the #1 component to NIL.
Really, the educational side of it, I don't think a lot of athletes know the financial side and also the sponsorship side and the relationship building side.
I feel like you should have a course on what's smart to do with your money. Not like money for dummies or nothing, but you should really let them know what they're doing.
It's a slippery slope, and we have to be very careful. I think that schools like FAMU and other places need to have within the athletics department, how much of it, the resources are dedicated to teaching coaches and student athletes when it comes to NILs.
I remember being in practice and I'm like thinking, like, what I'm gonna eat after this? Like the place that got the cheap food, they probably gonna close before I end the practice. So I gotta find out, like, and budget my meals throughout the day. Certain stuff like that can like weigh on a student athlete, because in practice you're thinking about this stuff. Just like the stress that comes with being a student athlete, I feel like NIL money helps like take away some of that stress.
As a partial scholarship athlete, I'm so grateful for NIL. I think the stories that you might hear are about NIL being taken advantage of, and not the positive stories of, like, I've been able to use NIL to help pay for my school, help pay for rent, help my parents pay for my rent and my utilities.
If I had an NIL, I'm gonna take care of the people that took care of me, and I'm gonna try to take care of the people they love too, because at the end of the day, my people taught me on family values. Like, a family really can't get through everything.
They value D1 schools more than D2 schools and SWAC schools, but I don't understand why.
At FAMU and like a lot of HBCUs and stuff like that, I noticed like we worry about a lot more than a regular student athlete does at like a bigger school. Like, they don't worry about half of the stuff that we have to worry about.
The former Florida quarterback, he had a baby in his junior year of college, and he was like, if I would have been able to have NIL, I could have supported my family.
I mean, I think it would be awesome if we could get to that point where we have enough people to, have a little team and focus on, getting opportunities for the team in the community and, benefiting both parties.